Hello, you guys. Happy Monday, and I was about to say, welcome to another week. So happy Monday. Welcome to In the Hot Seat. We are down to the final interviews before the season is over. Do 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 do. But anyway, being realistic thing. Yeah, I drew a brain fart yet again. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just say hi. As y'all can tell, it's Monday. I feel like we've been all over the world and I don't know what's going on. So I'm just gonna go ahead and bring our guest up so I can stop making things even more weird, rambling. So we are gonna be sitting here tonight with Carrie of the Brain, and I completely forgot to edit that. So, well, I'm gonna bring Carrie up and I'm gonna have her introduce herself and tell her who she's about. So come on, Carrie. I am going to be adjusting this thing because I realized I forgot your name in the thing. Okay, but anywho, while I fix that, could you tell us who you are and what you do?
Well, thank you for having me on here. I'm super excited, and you and I just need to take a nice deep breath and take five to focus. Take a deep breath,
I know.
Yeah,
Wait, I'm gonna meditate after this. Clearly I need to regroup, but I'm not gonna take away Sean. This is about you.
Hey, no, hey, by the end of this, we're all gonna be good. You're gonna be fine. So my name's Carrie Bone, the Brain Diva, and I want to thank Adriana for having me on here. And my big thing, I'm an emotional intelligence coach and speaker. I actually got my start doing brain health coaching. I'm a certified brain health coach, background in physical therapy. I've been working in physical therapy for 22 years this year. Oh my gosh, makes me feel really old. 22 years. So that's where I got focused on the brain. The last 10 years, actually 12 years of my work, I worked in pediatrics and focused on neuroscience, a lot of concussion education, post-concussion syndrome. And then the past 6 years, it has blossomed into emotional intelligence coaching for entrepreneurs and executives. And the past year has been healthcare and educators because of COVID. So that's my focus. It's shifted over the years. It's always had everything to do with the brain. Everything starts with the brain. And just like tonight, you and I got on here and we're like, whoa, our day has been both of our days have clearly been just scattered. And I was so pumped for this tonight, thinking that when I registered for this, I was like, yeah, Mondays, no big deal, get home early, have dinner squared away. And no, that's not what happened. So I was like, okay, we got to take a deep breath and take 5 to focus and get the oxygen to the blood flow, the frontal lobe. So yeah. So the Brain Diva, that's my brand. I love it. I love speaking. I missed speaking last year because of COVID. I had a lot of in-person speaking events that were postponed or canceled. Some of those are actually still happening this year. They were just postponed, so they're happening. But as we all know, we all had to pivot. So I was able to do online summits and things like that. So but right now, I am really hot into emotional intelligence coaching for healthcare professionals and educators because we are feeling it in the healthcare field and the educators. Really, we are feeling it. So that's my focus as of right now.
Okay. Could you tell us a little bit more about what emotional intelligence is? Just so everyone has a background on it.
Yeah, I know that I actually posted something about that recently because everybody's like, what? Actually, last night, on Instagram, Instagram, I know we're anti-Instagram right now.
We don't speak Instagram right here on this platform. But yeah.
The IG failed us. But on Instagram, I posted, what does emotional intelligence mean to you? Well, really, emotional intelligence is being very aware of your own thoughts, feelings, emotions, and being able to show empathy and really be aware. I used to say control your emotions, and that's really the wrong word to use because people need to feel their emotions. Like you and I
Yeah.
are, let's face it, like we're stressed out this evening because that, like, today was just a hot mess, right?
Yeah.
There's no way that we shouldn't hide that. We shouldn't pretend. And that's why I'm actually saying this, is like, we shouldn't pretend that we weren't overwhelmed today with whatever happened. Like, you shouldn't push that back. That's half of the world's problems, as we just like push it away and act as like it never happened. So emotional intelligence is being aware that, listen, I'm stressed out right now. Let's figure out where the stress is coming from. Let's try to tackle that issue and address it, whether it's something to do with somebody else, which we can't control, or something
Yeah.
that we ourselves can control. Maybe, set up our schedules better. I know today there were a lot of things that I couldn't control that
Yeah.
that made me feel pressured, but there were also things that I could control. So I think the best way to explain emotional intelligence is to give like an example. So I had to speak with a physician's office this morning about a patient. And I've been trying to get in touch with this one particular person in the physician's office.
Mm-hmm.
They are very busy. I am very busy. I'm seeing patients.
Right.
I'm doing interviews. I'm doing speeches. Okay, they don't know that, the doctor's office. But when I called, the receptionist said, well, we're very busy today. Can she just call you back? And I said, well, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to be with a patient when she calls me back, which means in today's world, when you call a home health worker, we're gown, glove, mask. Okay, we're not answering the phone unless it's like emergency with our family. And I said, well, there's a really good chance that I won't be able to answer the phone if she calls me back. So I'll call again in a little while. And she said, well, we are very busy, And I took a deep breath and I was like, okay, there's no sense in battling who's busier. Like, this is not going to work. I said, yeah, I figured you guys are pretty busy. So that's why I don't want to waste her time with her calling me and I'm not able to answer the phone. So I'll just try to call back later. And she kind of pressed on with she just wanted me to allow the lady to call me back. And I said, I don't know a good answer. I can't even give you a specific time that she could call me back.
Right.
And she couldn't give me a specific time the lady would call. So we were both in bad situations and there was no right answer. But I really, instead of feeling stressed out and maybe snapping back the way I would have like 12 years ago, I took a deep breath. I'm like, okay, we're both in bad situations. There's no good or right or wrong answer. So let's just be empathetic to each other and understand we're both slammed right now and we're going to get taken care of. And sure enough, she called me when I was with a patient. I couldn't answer the phone. So then she called again when I was free for a couple minutes and I answered and she was very, very polite. So that's like a good example of emotional intelligence, because right now a lot of what we do is virtual or over the phone.
Yeah.
And we're not even like, emotional intelligence face to face is almost easier because we can feel the person's energy and we can read their body language really well. But right now, I mean, look at this, we're virtual. In an ideal world, you and I would be like out at a networking event doing this, together side by side. So yeah, that's emotional intelligence, is being so aware of your own feelings, your thoughts, your actions, your words, and being able to use them for the benefit of yourself and others. Yeah.
I love that. So I know you mentioned entrepreneurs. Do you only help entrepreneurs in the health field, or do you help all kinds of entrepreneurs?
All kinds of entrepreneurs, because especially for the past year, I know you know, you and I are on social media. I would get on social media and be like, oh, what? No, they didn't say that. Being entrepreneurs of any field, being very unaware of what they were saying on social media and how it may affect somebody else. And in my mind, as a coach of an entrepreneur and coaching them in emotional intelligence, I'm like, they just lost clients that they didn't know they may have gotten. They lost clients because they did not display empathy and self-control in their words, and
Yeah.
everybody's entitled to their opinion. I get that. But emotional intelligence is seeing things from somebody else's perspective and actually being able to process it, even if you don't agree with it, and being like, you know what, you grew up in a different environment than I did, and I don't exactly know how you feel, but you know what, I get it. I get it. You know,
Yeah.
I understand you might be. So I work with entrepreneurs of all fields because it influences the sales, the relationships that you build. It
Yeah.
influences your home life too. Because if you are stressed out during the day in your entrepreneurial world and then you bring it home, which I used to, like years ago when I worked in physical therapy and I was so stressed out, I bring it home. You know, I didn't have that emotional intelligence to shift from, okay, I'm leaving that stress at work, I'm walking away, and this is my family. I'd have it, you know, at home with my family being
Yeah.
stressed out, and it's not their fault. So I work with any entrepreneur.
Okay. I was like, I last year, like everybody else, last year was just rough. So like trying to find a boundary and trying to like just see from other people's perspective, that was just that was just a rough, it was rough, but I am definitely thankful for that. So who I do want to ask you, like, what tip or tips would you give to other entrepreneurs that are kind of like struggling right now, especially because what you do is super important, especially when it comes to like customer service and like when you're helping like coaching us, like that's important. So like what tips would you give at least to kind of like start out or just be mindful of before we actually like come like seek services or just are even aware of what we're doing?
Yeah. Or like open mouth insert foot is what I like to call it. Like I don't know how many times I had done that
I'm
years ago.
learning.
Just like say something and be like, did I really say that? I shouldn't have. Or, you know, it's after the call and you're like, I really wish I wouldn't have said that. Or I should have said this, you know, instead. So the first thing I have to tell you, I actually did it with you just a little bit ago. The very easiest thing you can do is take a deep breath. If somebody pushes your buttons or if somebody's pressuring you to make a sale, you know, they're trying to get a sale and they're pressuring you, or
Right.
if someone's grilling you about your prices or insulting your business or anything like that, or really digging deep, stop, take a deep breath, take a deep breath before you answer. And taking a deep breath is step number one because it does bring blood flow to the frontal lobe of your brain. And when we get stressed out, we tend to hold our breath. That cuts off
Yeah.
oxygen to the frontal lobe. And the frontal lobe is what controls what you're thinking, saying, and doing. So that's when this shuts down, that's when you start spouting off things that you don't really mean, or you can't really process what you're hearing. So if you take a deep breath, just take a deep breath, you know, I say the biggest leaders in our time, they weren't quick to respond. Like when they were pressured, when they were being interviewed or when they were giving their speeches, it's okay to take a deep breath and think about what you're about to say, because the ones that have the quick responses and just say what's on the top of their mind, that's when you make
Mm-hmm.
mistakes. So if you take a deep breath, and you can even say to whoever you're talking to, you know what, let me think about that for a minute, please. You know, just let me think about what you're asking, or please give me a few seconds to think about what to say about that. You know, that way you acknowledge, like, yeah, I heard you. Okay, let me process what you're saying. Um, that's a huge thing, and it's emotionally intelligent because you're telling the person, I heard you, and you can even repeat what they're saying to you. So what I heard you say to me was, because then they know. And sometimes when they hear it back from you, they're like, well, wait a minute, that's not exactly what I meant. they don't even hear their own words, especially if you get into like a heated exchange or it gets really intense. They don't even know what they said themselves. So to hear it coming out of your mouth, even if you repeat the last 2 or 3 words or the most key words out of their mouth, they're like, oh wait, no, that's not what I meant. I do that in talking to even my friends. They're like, you said this, and I'm like, well, wait a minute, that's not exactly what I meant. So take a deep breath. Step number 1, take a deep breath. Then tell the person, okay, let me take a minute to process what you said. Let me think about that. And repeat the statement or repeat a few keywords. That's 3 things, but those are like quick succession, rapid fire things.
Yeah, I was like, no, like it's like we appreciate like that is needed. So I'm like mixing up my words. Take my little breath.
Take a deep breath.
You tell us? Yeah. Could you tell us what you have coming up, if any, like events? Like I usually see you like all over the place, it seems like. But could you tell us like what you have upcoming or any like your like coaching or anything? We would love to hear about it.
I am going to host a LinkedIn event. It will be my first one. Yes. I was going to do it this weekend, but in all honesty, I'm getting my second COVID vaccine this weekend as a healthcare professional. So I'm not quite sure how I'll feel, and I want to be at the top of my game. Yeah. So my goal is to have it the next weekend. So that would be February 20th. Actually might have it that Friday. I would like to have it during the day around lunchtime so that people can take a lunch break and jump into my emotional intelligence LinkedIn event. And I will focus it towards the healthcare and educators, but it's going to be applicable to anybody, just like the tips that I just gave. I'm going to make it applicable to anybody because we do need this. I thought I studied emotional intelligence, but man, I have dove into it 150% harder this past year. So we all need it. I mean, the world needs it right now. So if you're not following me on LinkedIn, you can it's Carrie A. Bone, or you can at the Brain Diva will bring up all of my stuff. And you can follow me on LinkedIn. And I'm also uploading my Conquer Mental COVID program. And if you sign up for my newsletter online, I'm uploading it to an online platform. I was sending it out via email distribution, but in 21 videos, but I'm going to upload it to a platform so you'll be able to just log in and get it. But I think the LinkedIn event is going to be my biggest thing. My speaking event isn't till May 4th, and that is the University of South Carolina Women in Leadership. And that's going to be live and virtual. So you'll have to watch my pages. Yeah, that's an event that was scheduled for last year, but postponed to this year. So I'm super excited about that. I'm so excited. Y'all have no idea. But the LinkedIn event, that's going to be my own virtual event. I'm talking about emotional intelligence.
Yay, I'm excited. Well, you tell us you're on LinkedIn. Where else can we connect with you and stay connected?
Facebook, Instagram, Clubhouse. And yes, I'm loving Clubhouse. I think we all need to look at our social media as, how we connect. And for my niche, it's actually really awesome. I'm loving it, but I'm a speaker, right? So it's just another platform I can talk. But Instagram, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, Facebook, at the Brain Diva.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Any last words you'd like to say before we wrap this up?
I would love to tell everyone to just take a deep breath tonight and relax, get the blood flowing to that frontal lobe, and everything is going to be okay.
We need that reminder. We always need that reminder. All right, you guys. So thank you for coming in, or if you're catching a replay, thank you guys for watching. Of course, I lost my complete train of thought yet again, but thank you guys for watching, and we will see you We will see you the next in the hot seat session. Goodness. And thank you guys again. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.